Hey guys, welcome back to my reaction channel. Today we're going to be reacting to I Watched Moana 2 So You Don't Have To by Modern Girls. So, I've heard people talk about this movie a few months ago when I was still in school. People were saying like the movie was literally trash. And y'all know the funny part about that is, y'all know how like when Disney movies come out, people like randomly sing the songs out of nowhere. I've not heard one song from this fucking movie. I ain't hear nobody sing not one song from this fucking movie. So that just tells me everything I need to know. I don't know what the hell is going on when it comes to movies nowadays. Like, every movie that comes out is bullshit. Like, it's just like, it's hard to find good movies nowadays. But, y'all, anywho, we're gonna go ahead and dive in and let's watch.
Everything that's wrong with Moana 2. If you've been
The
watching
movie
this
was
channel
that
for a
bad?
while, or happen to be following Modern Girls on Twitter, then you already know that I didn't have high hopes for Moana 2.
Damn.
Disregarding the fact that I'm just not a fan of all the lackluster sequels Disney has been churning out lately, the actual
Yeah, they been
story
shit
didn't
lately.
seem all that interesting to me. And now that the movie has officially come out,
I ain't even watched it
can
yet.
report that it's just as disappointing as I expected it to be.
Say,
And that's
yep.
putting it kindly.
Guess I dodged the
While
bullet.
part of me is happy to be proven right, because come on, I'm a Capricorn, the other part of me is incredibly disappointed to see how far a once innovative animation studio has fallen. Today we're going to be taking an in-depth look at Moana 2 and discuss all of the ways it fell flat, including the uninspired sidekicks, terrible
Damn.
pacing, boring villains,
Damn.
and god-awful music.
Damn.
Now, obviously, this is
Not
my
god-awful
opinion,
music.
so you're more than welcome.
I ain't
to
hear
disagree.
nobody
Just don't be an asshole.
talk about the songs.
And even though
Like,
it should be
they
obvious,
fucked up that
this
bad.
review is going to be filled with spoilers.
I don't give a
so
fuck.
don't
I ain't
say
watching the
that
movie.
I didn't warn you. Now let's get into it. The film starts off a few years after the first, with Moana embracing her Wayfinder role and exploring the islands around Motunui. During one of these excursions, she unearths a bowl with an island and a group of stars on it, and she decides that it must be a clue to finding other people. During a ritual, she receives a vision from one of her ancestors, who reveals that a powerful god, Nalo, sank the magical island of Motufetu to separate humans from one another and weaken them. And if it remains hidden, Moana's people will eventually die off. If that sounds eerily similar to the premise from the first film, that's because it is. Moana rounds up a crew made up of Motunui villagers, including the carpenter Loto, bookworm Moni, and farmer Keke. And along with her pets, Pua and Hehe, they set out for Motufetu. They immediately bump into the Kakamora tribe, who capture them, only for the two groups to realize that they're both after the same thing, reconnecting the islands and defeating Nalo. One of the Kakamora joined them on their quest, because we didn't have enough characters to keep track of, and by working together, they're able to paralyze a giant clam that is hiding the lair of Matangi. Although she was heavily teased as the movie's main villain, Matangi is actually Nalo's unhappy henchwoman, and she helps Moana escape and reunite with Maui, who is similarly seeking Motufetu. As they continue on their quest, they're ambushed by some of Nalo's monsters, who damage the ship and almost kill Moni. The group washes ashore a small island, and Moana's confidence is shaken, but after a song and dance number, Maui is able to convince her to keep going. They're able to
The songs were that bad?
make their way to Motufetu, which is hidden by a giant storm. Initially, they attempt to fight their way through, but Moana realizes that Nalo only cares about the humans, so she uses their boat as a distraction, while Maui pulls the island up from the ocean floor with his giant hook. Before he can pull it up, Nalo strikes him with a bolt of lightning, taking away his powers, and it seems as though all hope is lost. Just then, Moana dives into the water herself, but when she touches the island, Nalo kills her with another bolt of lightning.
Kills
Maui
who?
jumps in after her, and
Moana?
after a heartfelt chant, Moana's ancestors appear and turn her into a demigod, bringing her back to life. Maui also regains his powers, and the pair are able to raise the island up together. As they stand there, dozens of other ships conveniently begin arriving, and Moana leads them back to Motunui, where everyone rejoices at being reconnected. The film ends with Nalo planning his revenge, with Tamatoa the crab offering his assistance as he similarly harbors a grudge against Moana and Maui. Moana 2 was originally developed as a TV show, and I feel like you can really tell. Now, it's not as egregious as Belle's Magical World or Atlantis Milo's Return, which took unrelated episodes from scrap TV shows and tied them together with a basic subplot. But Moana 2 still isn't the most pleasant viewing experience.
Damn.
The pacing is probably what's most impacted by this, with random conflicts being introduced and then wrapped up every 20 minutes, just like they would if it were TV. It's super formulaic. We start off on a fun adventure, then there's a random conflict and a new villain, followed by a song, and finally a neat resolution. Then it happens all over again, about 5
I
times
can't believe that whole
actually.
got a little sister
Sure,
now.
the overarching narrative involves Motu'efetu, but the film keeps getting sidetracked on its way there that it's exhausting. Now, one thing that I want to make abundantly clear is that if this had remained a television show, then I genuinely think that Disney had something great on their hands. Because a premise where Moana visits new locations and meets new characters is perfect for an episodic format. The idea just doesn't work for a movie, which is what my critiques are directed at. In a TV show, you can introduce dozens of new characters no problem, because you actually have the wiggle room to develop their personalities, expand on their motivations, and highlight their relationship dynamics. With only an hour and 40-minute runtime, Moana 2 doesn't have that luxury, and their choice to introduce so many new characters was one of their biggest mistakes. In total, there are 7 new characters. Simea, Moana's younger sister, her 3 Motunui crew members, Kotu the Kakamora, Matangi, and Nalo.
Child, I don't know none of
there's
these
the
people.
pre-existing characters on top of that. Because the film is trying to cram so many people into the story, these new additions are incredibly one-note. Each of the crew members suffers from an affliction that almost all Disney protagonists have nowadays, which is quirkiness. They simply cannot resist the urge to talk to themselves, make funny faces, and get overexcited about random things. Sure, they have a few traits that differentiate them, like Keke being old and grumpy, Loto handy and confident, and Moni excitable and
I
passionate.
don't remember these
but
people.
that's
I
about
ain't even
it.
gonna lie.
Apart from Keke, who gets a little less curmudgeonly by
And
the
I
third
watched
act,
Moana like
they
a
don't
few
even
months
have an
ago.
arc over the course of the film.
I don't remember
and it
these
often
people.
feels like they're just there to give Moana someone to talk to. Out of the 3, Loto feels the most superfluous, and I think the film could have easily combined her and Moni into one character. Because there's not enough time to get into their motivations, these characters desperately needed to serve a greater purpose within the story. And honestly, killing one of them would have been a great way to do that. Now I
Damn.
know what you're all thinking. This is a kids movie, but I need to remind you that Disney has
Hey, girl, that's
had
just your
great
opinion.
success in the past. Just look at Bing Bong,
Don't worry
Bambi's
about it.
Mother, Mufasa, or Tadashi. When done correctly,
I don't even know what the hell
it's not
that
just
is.
a
I don't
silly
watch
moment,
Disney
but it
movies
can
like
actually
that.
serve as a catalyst for a character's growth. I'd probably kill off Moni, since he
Damn.
has the most connections out of the new characters.
Oh,
And I feel like
I'm
Moana's
sorry.
breakdown in the second act would be a lot more believable if their journey had actually had a tangible consequence. Plus, just imagine if Moni had been there when Moana was revived. It'd be a real 1-2 punch to the gut. Like, yes, we did it, but not all of us made it. The first Moana movie poked fun at the animal sidekick trope that Disney often uses, but it seems as though that
They
self-awareness
still got that
ended
damn
there.
chicken.
If you wear a dress and you have an animal sidekick, you're a princess.
I have no complaints about Heihei and Pua being more prominent in the sequel. I just would have appreciated a wider variety of gags, because it just winds up being derivative of the first film.
That's good pork. Oh, don't want the pork getting cold. Gotta stop doing that.
Kotu the Kakamora is a cute addition to
What
the
the fuck
sidekick
is
lineup,
that?
but his personality is similarly lacking. I don't know. Maybe I'm just used to Disney's older animal sidekicks like Miko, Iago, and Pegasus, who served a purpose
So
besides
Disney is just
selling
trash
merchandise.
now.
I truly feel like the measure of a great Disney movie is its villain, and Nalo is just a complete and utter
Yeah, I don't really
disappointment.
care to watch any
First
of
of all, we don't
this.
even
They
see
new
him
shit.
until
Like
the
I don't
credits. Prior
care.
to that point, he's just a cloud. And when we do see him, he's just some dude. Tekka was a lot more intimidating in comparison.
I have crossed the
I
horizon
suspected
to
that Matangi
find
was a red herring
you.
from the very beginning because she was featured a bit too prominently in advertising.
They have
But I was
stolen
just
the
surprised
heart
by
from
how
inside
unimportant she
you.
wound up
I'm
being
sorry.
in the final
I'm
product.
sorry.
She does have one of the catchiest songs.
So you
in the
telling
film,
me
so that's
all the
plus,
songs was
but
shit?
Otherwise, she's pretty forgettable. It was
Damn.
clearly an attempt
I
to
literally
make her
haven't heard
somewhat
anyone
mysterious,
sing
like
any
you
of these
can't quite
songs.
tell if she's good or bad, but I think this just winds up making her feel wishy-washy.
I haven't heard not
I know
one
I've
song
already
from
drawn a lot of
Moana.
comparisons to older Disney projects in this review, but John Silver, Kuzco, Kovu, and Megara are great examples of morally gray characters whose personalities are still clearly defined. Samaya is probably the most memorable of the new characters, and although she's pretty dang adorable, that sort of loud, sassy sibling is nothing special in the Disney universe.
Oh.
And I'd argue that she's practically identical to Coda in Brother Bear or Ranjan in the
I don't
Jungle
know
Book 2.
any of these movies. Like, I told you I don't be watching Disney movies. Like, I don't know none of these people.
You said you'd bring me a present.
Now, I'm by no means saying that that personality type doesn't exist in real life. In fact, I bet a lot of people would say that Samaya reminds them of their siblings or their children. I just feel like they could have done a lot more with her. Instead of throwing Moana with these random crew members that she has no relation to, I would have liked to have seen a deeper exploration of her family. Remember that in the first film, Moana and her father aren't exactly on the same page. And although
Right.
they make amends when she returns home, I think there was plenty of room to further develop that relationship in the sequel. Considering her father expressed an interest in voyaging in the first film, why not have him actually join Moana on her quest? In fact, bring her mother along too. It can be a big family adventure to save their village.
I mean, yeah.
Obviously, they'd planned to leave Samaya behind, but like the little rascal she is, she'd just stow away on board. A
Would've
lot of
been
Disney
nice.
movies focus on the relationship between a child and their parent, or between two siblings. Why not
Damn.
go forward with the entire family dynamic for once? Controversial, I know, but the first Moana movie wasn't my cup of tea either. There's no
Oh.
denying that it was beautiful
Ooh.
to look at, but other aspects of the film didn't work for me. For one, I didn't like Maui or Moana, which is a pretty
Damn.
big issue considering they're the main characters. But I found Moana a bit too adorkable, while Maui was just a more irritating
Adorkable?
main
I ain't never
Johnson.
heard that word
The other
before.
issue I had was the music. I simply do not like Lin-Manuel Miranda's style, especially
I don't
when
know who
he
the fuck
teams up
that
with
is.
Disney. And it's why I've only been able to watch Encanto a single time.
That was a good movie.
Because Moana 2 was initially developed as a TV series, I suspect that Disney attempted to cut costs by not having Miranda return, hence the hiring of Abigail Barlow and Emily Bear, who are best known for the unofficial Bridgerton musical that they wrote on TikTok in 2021. Most of the duo's work has been created for TikTok, and I think this social media influence negatively impacted the entire Moana soundtrack. Half of the songs come across like generic pop ballads with incredibly repetitive imagery, while the other half are just an attempt to emulate Miranda's faux rap style, but they don't flow as well and wind up feeling corny. Obviously, Ali'i Carvalho has an amazing voice, but even she can't save these songs.
Damn.
One thing
Damn.
about both Moana movies that irks me are the modern jokes.
Okay,
Now,
so
again,
she don't like
it's
Moana,
not unique in the
period.
Disney universe. Just look at the
She don't
genie
like
in
that
Aladdin.
bitch, period.
But in that case, it felt intentional, with everything about that character
She a old
being
Disney fan.
anachronistic in order to differentiate him from the more normal characters. In Moana, everyone makes these sorts of jokes. Maui, Moana, Moni, even Tui. Disregarding how heavy-handed they are, they also date the movie exponentially. Remember that god-awful tweeting joke? Although I
No.
wasn't a fan of Moana and Maui's personalities in the first film, I did appreciate the development of their friendship and their individual growth. It made them feel like real people who went on a journey that actually had an impact on them. In the sequel, they're just kind of there. Moana starts off
Damn.
confident and self-assured, and ends the film the exact same way. Sure, she has a small hiccup in the middle of it, but it happens so suddenly that it doesn't really make sense, and it's later resolved so quickly in such a silly way that it feels like a waste of time. Even though the "they're dead, just kidding" trope is a staple of the Disney brand.
Fuck him for
I'm
cutting her
happy
hair that
to say
short.
that
Cause
I'm
why
pretty
would you
tired
do
of it,
that?
Especially when
I
it
don't
comes
like
to
him
main
for that
characters,
bullshit.
Since we all know Disney.
Her hair was
never
ugly as
actually
fuck after that. Like,
but
I was
do
so
think it worked
mad.
in Moana, since there was actually a payoff that
Like,
resulted
did you
in
have to cut her hair that
and
short?
becoming a demigod made perfect sense for Moana. What with the talking to water and seeing spirits, it felt like it was always her destiny, and it's one of the few positive things I can say about the film. However, I do wish that they hadn't given Maui his powers back.
Damn.
A big part of his character is this idea that he needs to protect Moana and all of humanity. But what happens when they don't need him anymore? With Moana becoming a demigod and all the islands being reconnected, wouldn't it be a natural progression of his story to finally be able to live a normal life? Then, in the inevitable sequel, you could have that be his primary conflict. Becoming human would also be a great way to give him a romantic interest. Then you could finally get rid of the weird undertones between him and Moana, which are just impossible to ignore in the sequel. Like, it's actually crazy. Other than everything I already mentioned, I also don't think the movie looked very good,
Oh.
especially the background characters. It looked like they came straight out of an AI prompt. Unfortunately, despite all of these shortcomings, Moana 2
She don't
has
fuck
found
with
massive
Moana,
success at the
period.
box office, bringing in over $400 million its first week and breaking several records. Now, I've never equated financial success to a film's quality. After all, some of Disney's highest grossing projects include the Lion King remake, the live action
Why?
Beauty
I
and the
hate when
Beast,
they do
Incredibles
this
2, and
live
Toy Story
action
4.
shit.
But I'm afraid that the Walt Disney
The
Company
remakes to live
doesn't feel
action
the
is
same
so
way I
unnecessary.
do.
Like, nobody asked for
Regardless
this
of
shit.
Moana's less
I'm
than
tired
stellar
of with that
critical
shit.
reception, its commercial success is inevitably going to prompt the creation of even more half-hearted sequels. It'll be like the 2000s all over again, just in theaters instead of on VHS. At this point, it's hard to believe that for most of Disney's history, they only made original projects, and now more than half their roster is based on their pre-existing IP. Sure, we have a few new ideas like Elio and Hoppers on the way, but if they're anything like Wish or Onward,
Oh my god, that movie was terrible.
now, I'm not saying the people working on these
I like that
projects
one song they had at the end. They was like,
but Disney's
knowing what we
ideas are so
know
money-driven
now.
nowadays
I like
that
that
they
song.
routinely
Other than that,
stand in
everything
the way
else
of
was shit.
creativity. And at this point, I think the Disney name sells more tickets than the actual quality of their work.
Damn.
What did you think of Moana 2?
I didn't watch
If you enjoyed
it.
this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Damn, she don't fuck with Moana, period. She said, I didn't like Moana 1 either. Like, oh, okay. But yeah, this live action shit, I'm tired of Disney doing this shit. Who the hell asked for a damn Lion King live action film? And it's like, they don't like, y'all motherfuckers don't like animating them. I'm like, what's tea? Oh shit, I need to turn this shit off. But yeah, Disney has definitely gone to shit. I don't really care to watch these new movies that's coming out. Like, what she said? Whoever the hell that, what she said, Ilya or Pixie? I don't know, something. I wasn't even paying attention. That lets you know I don't give a fuck. I don't know, it was 2 movies that's supposed to be coming out. Yeah, I don't really care to watch them. Like, Disney is just not, they don't got the sauce no more. But yeah, I did not watch Moana 2. I don't really care to watch it anymore. I literally stopped caring like a few months ago. I don't care. People said it was trash. I'm gonna take y'all word for it because I recently seen a movie. It wasn't a Disney movie. It was a horror movie called The Woman in the Yard. That movie was shit. And it's like they be making the movie look. The trailer, I feel like the trailer was misleading. Like, the movie was literally about how grief can damn near eat you alive. And it's like, I already seen a fucking movie like that. Like, oh, the husband is dead. The husband's dead. The mom is still grieving him. Car accident. Like, that don't sound familiar to y'all? Think about the Babadook. It's the same fucking plot. It's like, as I was watching the movie theater, I'm like, bitch, haven't I watched a movie like this before? Like, then the Babadook came on, like, this is the same fucking plot. It's the same shit. They just watered it down. So yeah, movies nowadays are trash. Y'all, these trailers be misleading as a motherfucker. Yeah, what did y'all think about the movie? If y'all watched it, let me know what y'all think down in the comments below, and I'll see y'all in my next video.